Hello YouTube, this is Andy again, back with another video. I saw a comment that said I should check, have I seen Daechwita from Agust'D, and I thought I'd try it out. Agust'D, I do know who Agust'D is, which is Suga from BTS. Oh, by the way, just a quick background for me since this is still a new channel. I'm a Korean American that has been listening to Korean pop for a very long time, since the early 90s and some 80s as well. But I've been severely outdated as of the last 5-10 years. I haven't been watching much, so I thought I'd really try and give it a shot, get back into K-pop again. There's a lot happens every 5-10 years in music, so I thought I'd give it a shot and get back right into learning, discovering new groups, new people, new singers, new songs, and don't let myself get dated too much. So Daechwita is I don't know the song very well. I do know Agust'D, I do know Suga, I do know BTS, but this is not a song I'm too familiar with. So without any further ado, let's get this video started. Immediately, for those of you who have not been to Korea or an Asian country that has this kind of architecture, these buildings are absolutely fascinating to see. I've been to a couple different places in Korea that still have these buildings intact, and you could kind of visit them as a historical site. Very fascinating to see. Suga looks, or Agust'D looks great. Blonde hair, earrings. It's like a modern king. And I see a bunch of dead people. I presume this says Daechwita. I know the first character on the left here is Tae for big, I think. But the others, I don't know how to read the rest though. Hanja or Chinese characters. Hmm. Hmm. Excuse me. Very high energy. And Suga looks really great, actually. I see some cameos from other BTS members. I really like wherever they're filming this. It's really amazing looking. The background and everything. I assume it's real. But I think this video is mentioned in my comments because I mentioned in that Suga's actually pretty good at acting like a gangster, and I think that maybe is what triggered the comments about maybe have I seen Daechwita. Suga's actually got very good facial expressions when rapping aggressively. He has this little half smirk, I guess, and his body language as he moves. It's the hip hop stuff that I'm not too versed in, but it looks great to me. Music sounds great. His as usual, it's got the stamp of Suga's style of rap. Yeah, word plays, intentionally including the inhaling sounds a little more prominently than you would normally hear. It sounds great. I always thought Suga had a slight lisp, very very slight, and it adds to his character, or his rapping, I should say. Ooh. Looks like they're executing a lot of people. There's a car. Like I said, it's like a mixture of old style and modernness as well. Uh, Coming off of watching that, I think this is the same Hyundai car that mentioned earlier about. This was like a very common car that was showing up in movies in the past. I don't remember the model still. So it's a Hyundai Grandeur or something, like from the 90s, I believe. Very cool car. Never would want to own one myself, but it's Sai had a blue out accented one. This one's orange. It looks pretty cool. I actually don't like this part of the song. By the way, I'm not really listening to the lyrics right now. I've usually listened to feel and sound first, lyrics after if I feel like looking it up. Oh, don't spit on me. Oh, thumbs down. I like this actually. This little slow down, or at least quieter feel. This is a great looking scene, by the way. Well, Suga seems like he's walking kind of wobbly, kind of like a drunk person. I don't know. I'm guessing he's acting like it, like a cocky king or lord. I don't know what he is right now. Ooh. So all the lackeys or whatever, they're also bobbing their head. Ooh. Does Suga know how to use a sword? I presume he just trained for this specific scene, but... Oh, I see. Is that blood on his sword? Oh. No. Maybe my eyes deceived me. Okay. Not interested in your um, advertisements. This is a precarious situation I'm in. Can I just... Can you end? End. Please go away. So what I'm gonna do instead is go back to searching for Daechwita and just leave it on the screen for a little bit. That was great. There's one section of the song that I don't particularly like. It's the part where they kind of where there's singing, like not really singing, but it's like a chant, I guess. Daechwita. That part I didn't dig that much, but it's a small complaint. Can't expect me to like everything, and nor does he have to cater to everyone's tastes, right? I think the acting was great. Suga impresses me again. And his versatility. I know he produces a lot of his own things and produces a lot of things for other people and shows his versatility. Daechwita doesn't sound like anything that produced before. I may have heard something similar in terms of sound from other like older rap, but um, and by that I mean like some of the instruments, the kind of the more traditional Korean gong sound, as I guess you could say, um, with elements of trap mixed in there. It sounds great. Um, get back into this without uh, ads now since I watched it. Excuse me. I'm. I came down with a cough, unfortunately, uh, so I am a little stuffy. Again, this place looks amazing, and I want to visit it. So, um, yeah, it's Daechwita sounds great. Suga's again impresses me. If you guys have the only really song I've heard from August Suga or Agust'D specifically is his self-titled song, which I thought was great as well. Agust'D. Um, and just to give you a little background on my knowledge of BTS, I'm mainly a fan of their um, title tracks. The stuff that kind of gets played in the main streams. Uh, their B tracks or their album tracks that don't make it to being promoted heavily. Those are where my knowledge probably starts to lack a little. Their albums and such. But with that said, I mean, BTS is a uh, group that I've been uh, keeping a pulse on, monitoring a little bit in terms of where they are. And I can't say I'm an army or anything because I'm not really I'm not the type to get into obsessiveness or at least into fandoms. Not because I try not to. It's just maybe a personality thing. It just doesn't really appeal to me to try and become part of a fandom. But um, BTS. It's funny. I was gonna save a lot of my BTS anecdotes for another video of some kind, whatever in the future. But since we're on the topic of BTS a little bit, um, I remember seeing their debut, and I remember how I thought it was not only outdated. I think it was a. I remember the melody of the song still. It's Kojimaya, na, 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 na. Um, and I thought, oh, it's like 5 years too late for this kind of sound. Uh, Korea was kind of starting to phase out of hip hop and more into trap and more electronic music at 2013. I think it was 2013, 2012, early 2010s. Um, they were more into trap, more into EDM, more into electrical sounding things. And hip hop was just like what it was. It Don't get me wrong, Korea had a hip hop scene and it was existing in the background, and it still does at that time. But it just wasn't the sound that I was expecting from a boy group. And I thought I don't see the mainstream appeal, at least to Korea. And it's going to be a hard road for them if that's the kind of sound they're going to continue to go with. So I remember thinking this is a group that might fail if they don't change something. Um, but that was it. That was all I could think about in terms of them. And then I started fading away from from K-pop, and that's where I left it. And then I happened to come across a BTS music video called "Dope." I was like, BTS. I heard these guys before. And I remember watching the music video, and it was I couldn't say I'm not an expert on sound or music, but the music was more in tune with what was kind of popular. Maybe at the tail end of that kind of sound, that kind of saxophone heavy kind of beat. Uh, Excuse me. But what was I saying? But the dancing is what really impressed me in that song. It was like it was my first exposure to the new form of boy groups. And I could get into that more later. But anyways, with that said, um, after that, I've been kind of peripherally aware of BTS's adventure and journey, and another thing that I'll probably talk about in another video someday in the future if I continue to um, if people are continuing to be interested, um, is why I was interested in BTS's international theme and why the Korean music industry in the past um, had me interested in BTS's adventures. But anyways, this is enough talking for now. I appreciate everyone that came here to watch this reaction. I think this is a great song. Actually, this is a 9.5 out of 10. I don't know if I'll ever give a 10 in this on this channel. I might want to be one of those. Oh, this is a 9.5, it's a 9.75, and then maybe another granular level 9.8. There's that one section of the song I didn't like, but I think that is such a small portion of the greater um, part of the song. Actually, let me. I want to do lyrics. 데치타 차올려라 데치타 빛이나 나네 왕관의 빛이나 잊지마. Don't forget it'll be faster if I read this in English because my Korean